Welcome to DFS Insights. I'm David Geislinger, and I'm joined by my cousin David Grant Jr. The teams up on the block are the Toronto Raptors at the Los Angeles Clippers.
This is where each of us will be giving you our three key players to focus on while creating each of your lineups. Sometimes we'll have the same favorite plays, sometimes we won't. David and I are going to give you a quick breakdown of what we like about our three main plays, and make sure to stay tuned to the end where we're going to give you two completely free lineups.
Nice. Let's just do a quick just kind of overview of what to kind of potentially expect from this game. I have it right now that the Clippers are favored by a good healthy 10 points.
10 points.
With the over-under being about 237, so that's saying about 233.5 to 113.5. So decent scoring game, so a lot of potential for some points to be spread out. So if you want to...
Yeah.
A little bit more detail if you want to provide.
Yes. Couple plays here. Obviously we got Kawhi Leonard facing his old team where, he made that little pit stop and what'd he do? Oh, that's right. He won an NBA championship for the Toronto Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do like, they call it revenge games for former teams, whether they left on good terms or bad. Typically a revenge game would be better like if this game was in Toronto. I know you mentioned this is their first time playing this season, so they are going to be playing again in Toronto. That would be a little bit more of the show-off thing. But either way, I could kind of see Kawhi wanting to get up and, give that little extra effort, towards his old team.
Mm-hmm.
And at 15,000, being the most expensive guy on here, and if you kind of game log troll his last three games, he's averaging about 38 fantasy points. He's due for a 50 plus fantasy point game. So
keep in mind too that Toronto is on a back-to-back. And this is the third game in 4 days for them as well. And Clippers are rested. They haven't played in, two times. So that's going to be...
that'll play into this for sure.
Last time, and just another side note, last time that they were on a back-to-back with Toronto on a back-to-back with the 3 day and 4 days, they lost to the Detroit Pistons.
Oh man. So, oh wow.
That's embarrassing. This might be a game where, the reserves come in if they're already favored 10 points, and then if anything's like the past. So with that, let's see what players you focus on. What three players are you focused on in this matchup?
Yeah, so the ones I'll be like focusing on. I really like. I still like Siakam at this 12.5 price. Again, his last two performances. They just played the Lakers last night. He only had 36 fantasy points. I don't know if it's because of some of these trade rumors with him that have been going on or what. What's going on there, if that's affecting his performance mentally. But either way, he's got 55 point upside. Even though, as you mentioned, the 3 games and 4 nights and they are on a back-to-back, it does look like his time over these last 2 games though has been down, with 32 minutes last night and then 30 minutes against Golden State. So I could see him getting a 38-minute type run if the game stays in hand. As you mentioned, if they lost to Detroit, the Clippers are doing well this season. So, assuming the game, is semi-competitive, I like Siakam at the 12-5. I do also like him at like the star spot. Putting him there for some low ownership is a good pivot to not be super chalky. And then my other play, I'm gonna go to the hot-handed Zubac from the Clippers side. And I mean, at 11,000, he's been balling right now. I mean, he played 27 minutes against Phoenix and still put up 39 fantasy points. And then you can see, he played the Lakers, and when his minutes went up to the 37 minutes, he put up 47 fantasy points. So, um, don't get me wrong, there are times, where he's a little volatile, but I mean, even against Indiana, December 18th, I mean, he had 50 fantasy points in 26 minutes. So he's a great fantasy per minute player. So really, it's just about, kind of projecting how much playing time you think he's going to get. But at the same time, on low minutes, he is capable of scoring big. And I'll be moving him around, a lot in the pro spot, maybe in the star spot. It's tough because if you put him down in the utility, the ownership there is just super high. So, on the single game stuff, trying to be contrarian and putting him in some of these other multiplier spots is always smart. And then my third main play, I'm going back to Chris Boucher. I've been a fan of this guy for a couple years now. The only thing is about keeping our eye on the news. I have no idea why Thad Young started randomly last night against the Lakers for them. That, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it doesn't make any sense, especially when Chris was coming off two great games. I mean, he played Sacramento, 27 minutes, 14 points, 9 boards, a assist, block, a steal, and no turnovers. I mean, dude. And then Golden State, he only played 16 minutes. He scored 17 points, 9 boards, an assist, a block, a steal, and no turnovers. I mean, what more do you want from a guy? I mean, that's handling your business. So at 8K, with Podol being out, it's a steal to have him.
Mm-hmm.
And if news breaks that Thad Young is starting again, then I will maybe not be quite as heavy on him. Although that doesn't mean I'm going to be inserting Thad Young, even though he's 6K. That's going to be super chalk for sure. I'm not going to say don't play him. Obviously, put him in a lineup or two. Just know he's going to be 40 to 50% owned at the utility spot. And you're going to have to really mix it up somewhere else not to tie with a bunch of people. So, yeah, those are my three plays that I'll be looking at to really have as kind of a core and kind of move around. What do you think about those plays? And then you can let me know about what you got going on.
Yeah, the Boucher or whatever, however you pronounce the name. Yeah, I thought it was a good play. I had him last night, and then that Thad Young news came out. I'm like, okay, that's fine. He should still get his usual 17 to 20 minutes, and he ended up with 14 minutes, and he didn't produce nearly like he was supposed to. So that kind of hurt. Thad Young had an amazing night last night, which was weird. Siakam, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, if it's kind of mentality being, on the trade block or however he wants to go about it. I mean, he's still definitely, he has the potential to, go off, but he's still sitting at a pretty decent, 30 fantasy point range. So I'm not too concerned with that. And Zubac has been, a beast as of late. So yeah, I think they're all good plays. Definitely different than what I did, which is good because now we get to kind of break down 6 people for everybody instead of basically having the same 3. So to
Yeah.
start mine off, I'm going to go here with James Harden. Yeah, I mean, can't really, I guess, explain too much. I mean, he's an all-star. I mean, James Harden's been on 75 teams and has done great in every single one. I think he's finally come into, I guess, I wouldn't say your quote-unquote, his role in the Clippers, where he's not, getting those 40-point games, those 50-point games. He's actually being that, traditional point guard where he's facilitating the offense. Now, I mean, if you look back, this is James Harden, everybody we're speaking about, but 10 assists, 9 assists, 13, 11, 10, 13. So his assist count is crazy right now. And I mean, on top of that, he's still averaging, 15 to 20 something points. So that makes for great, fantasy numbers. He has a ceiling of about 54 fantasy points. Usage is about 21%. He's averaging 32 plus minutes a game. So I mean, usage is high, minutes are high. The Toronto Raptors did give up to his potential position 55 points to Cade Cunningham of Detroit Pistons. So
okay, Cade is solid though. For what it's worth, Cade is solid. But
Donovan Mitchell, they gave up 54 fantasy points, and John Morant, they gave up 52 points. So I'm thinking he might have a breakout game here.
Nice.
At least I think he can have those mid to upper 40s games. That'd be great to have one of these 69.9 or 50, 50 point games. But yeah, James Harden for sure. I'm going to be leaning on him. Definitely even have him up into the MVP because I think he'll be lower owned there. And if he does have that, 40 to 50 point game, having him in the MVP could set you apart.
Big time.
Going next up on the list. Switching over here to Toronto, Emmanuel Quickly. This guy, I don't know if he had a resurgence of his career in the 5 games that he's played here in Toronto Raptors. I mean, he's averaging 35 fantasy points. If you look back, basically Detroit is, I guess, the game where they kind of traded. So basically below Detroit is where he was for the Knicks, and then above Detroit is where he's from the Raptors, and it's just it's crazy. And I mean, he's really averaging about 32 minutes. He did have a few like 37-minute game, 32, and then the last 2 games were 26, which I kind of like because going on that back-to-back 3 games in 4 nights, sitting at 26 minutes, he has the potential to play a little bit more minutes than if he would have played like 38 minutes last night, especially since it was like one of those later 7:30 Eastern starting games, or Pacific 7:30 Pacific Standard Time starting games. I think the projection about 30 plus minutes in this matchup. So yeah, I think his usage has been about 23%. So with usage and minutes come fantasy points, and you can clearly see that he's taking full advantage of it here in Toronto. So
I like him a lot. He's hey, just so you know, he's only 24 years old. He's only been on the Knicks before the trade, or however that happened, obviously, where they got RJ Barrett in Quickly, and Quickly's always been. He played great for the Knicks as well.
But I think he was he was playing on the bench role because Brunson's also a baller, so.
I mean, dude, they New York had been in a dumpster fire with all sorts of massive guards just loaded, and but yeah, sorry, keep. Yeah. What's the last?
You mentioned RJ Barrett as part of that trade because that I'm going back to him for my third person. It just seems like these guys, maybe they found their spot here in Toronto. He's been a little bit more inconsistent. The first 3 games he played with Toronto is about mid-20s, but last 2 games he's talking he's averaging about 50 fantasy points. Last night against the Lakers, 45, Golden State 56. So I think he's finding his they're still working and getting adjusted playing time. Last night versus the Lakers was the first time those 5 starters had played together. Literally, they logged 0 minutes together before last night, and I mean they almost beat the Lakers. They lost by a point. Came down. You know,
Yeah.
it was pretty intense game last night. So, you know, R.J. Barrett, I'll be messing around with him. You know, even up to the star all the way down to flex.
Yeah.
MVP maybe, but I think there's the other people. I have a little bit more trust to maintain these higher numbers, but that would definitely be, he would be super low owned in the MVP if you decided to get crazy with it. But I mean, he does have the potential, because if you're looking at 50, you know, you want that MVP anywhere from, you know, at least above 45. So he has that potential.
Oh, for sure.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, those are my 3. What are you thinking about those?
Yeah. I definitely like the Isaiah Quickly. You know, or I'm sorry, Isaiah. I think that's his brother, Emmanuel Quickly. You know, that 11.5 price range is always interesting. You know, about moving them around. You know, whether utility or the pro. It's just crazy how much of a difference just that small change will help. It's all about the ownership game here too. You know, that's the biggest part about, is trying to separate yourself and still have the highest score. Like the last night's single game with the Toronto and the Lakers, that was like a 30-50 way tie, something like that, and everyone only got, I say only got $750, but it's like when you take first place out of 5,500 people, you're going to want a little bit more money than that, right?
All right. Well, speaking of lineups, let's give the people what they really want. The 2 free lineups here.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, please comment down in the comment section below. Let us know what you think of the lineups. And we would love to hear from you guys. If you do like this content, make sure you please like, subscribe. That helps us out. That gets the more likes, subscribers we have, we get put out in front of more people. So you can help us, and we love to hear from you guys. And if you have any comments about who should you play over another person, put that also in the comments below. We'd love to give you our opinion and try to help you guys hit that leaderboard.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we love talking basketball. Hope everybody wins some money tonight, and go Kings.